And we are live. Good evening, Podfeet.
Good evening. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
We had a close call right before the show. Our 2-year-old grandson FaceTimed us.
Oh boy, yeah.
My daughter-in-law was just apologizing for calling so close to showtime, and I said, "What are you talking about? I'd probably answer if it was during the live show, right?"
Right.
And none of you guys would blame me. All right, we got a lot. We got a hopping audience here tonight. We got Kevin and Bruce got a square of Bruce, and we got Frank and Mike is back after a long hiatus, and Jill and Lynn and John and
Sutter.
Sutter. Thank you, man. Why do I have trouble turning Pie Man into Sutter?
Oh, they sound so similar.
I should be able to do that though. And Sandy and Steve and Zoe. Lots of fun in here tonight.
Yeah,
Yay.
full house. Welcome everyone.
All right, I'm going to do a playback of audio. Make sure you guys can hear this. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology. Do I get a yes, yes?
Heard it.
Heard it.
All right.
If we get another Bruce, then we start the Cubist Bruce realm, and that's just weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wave at your free little lending library every couple of days, Sutter, as I walk by. So I remember you. Just can't. So many names. Knowing all the pseudonyms, you know. My little tiny pea brain, as Dorothy used to say. All right. I think I am ready.
Did we miss anyone on the sidebar? They probably would have said it.
Was John there when I he
yeah,
said he just came in close to the wire.
You did. Yeah.
All right. I don't see anybody loose in the sidebar. Yeah, I always think I could say Gracie. Can I just call you Gracie? That would be easier. When I see Pie Man, I think I could do Gracie. All right. I think I'm ready.
All right.
Oh, hang on.
What?
No, I started typing and it didn't show up in Discord, and that's because it showed up in the show notes. My opening line said, "Bruce, hi, this is Allison Sheridan." Right. Now I'm ready. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, January 19th, 2026, and this is show number 1080.
Oh, hold on. It's technically the 18th. Actually, not just technically, it is the 18th.
It is. Shoot. I thought you were going to tell me I had the show number wrong. That's bad. That means it's wrong everywhere. Hang on.
I put a little Easter egg in the show name on Facebook and the Discord chat room and Slack, but I don't think anyone noticed.
Was it Ricky Winterboard?
No, but very similar.
Yeah?
In feel.
In feel.
Well, wait, did I announce the show?
Yeah.
No, maybe I didn't do it. I announced it, but I didn't use the little Easter egg in Slack.
What Easter egg did you use?
Look at the show title at the top of Discord.
Oh, 1080p? That's not what I was thinking of, but
it is the 19th for Zoe. Okay, this was all for Zoe.
There you go. All right, well, we'll start over.
All right.
That's what the live audience is here for. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, January 18th, 2026, and this is show number 1080. Steve thinks it's the 1080p show. All I could think of was a video game he used to play with Ricky Winterboard. It was 1080 or something about, was it 1080? Something like that. Anyway, before we kick into gear with this week's show, I want to let you know that next week's show will come out early, I think on Saturday, because Steve and I are headed out to Texas for a few days to play with Kyle and our grandkids. That means there will be no live show on Sunday, January 25th. We can now resume our regular programming.
And yes, it was Ricky Winterboard, and yes, it had to do with how many rotations once you get off a ramp and you're jumping. 1080 is 3 full rotations.
Okay, so it was the degrees of rotation?
Right, and yeah, snowboard.
How is 1080?
3 times 360.
360? Ah.
900
okay.
plus 180.
Okay. All right. How will John and Mike and I survive? Everybody else is fine? All right. Let's do this. Bart Buchatz has started keeping a running list of things he hears me say where I say, I don't quite understand this. He saves these ideas for what we call tidbit episodes of Programming by Stealth. They're kind of one-off topics rather than a mini-series where we do things like learning JavaScript or Bootstrap or Git, which goes on week after week in sequence. Over the years, podfeed.com has gone through quite a number of server changes as the site grew and technological advances made improvements possible. When Bill Reveal helped me do a major migration a few years ago, we changed the web server to something called Nginx. And along with that came something called PHP FPM. I never knew what PHP FPM was. Later, Teg Bushman helped me do yet another major migration, moving from the deprecated Linux operating system CentOS to Rocky Linux. Sometime after that, the site was getting hammered by some external miscreants, and one of the symptoms we could measure was PHP FPM processes hitting 100%. Again, there's that PHP FPM thing I didn't understand. So, in our most recent installment of Programming by Stealth, Bart walks us through the evolution of podfeed.com kind of as a case study to explain the technology changes in web server management and what cool things are possible today that were not available to us more than 20 years ago when podfeed.com was born. The last part of the story finally teaches us what the heck this PHP FPM thing is. If you'd like to hear the story as taught by Bart, check out Tidbit 16, How podfeed.com Works, over at pbs.bartificer.net.
All right. Can you give us the Reader's Digest version?
Nginx and PHP FPM together do the web server work that Apache used to do by itself.
Okay.
There's some little workers, and they do some things, and they do them intelligently and efficiently compared to what used to happen over in Apache.
Gotcha.
Wow, that tells me a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
okay, like, can you say what Apache does?
Apache was the web server that I first used. So I used to be on the LAMP stack, which was Linux for the operating system, Apache for the web server, MySQL for the database, and PHP for the programming language. So WordPress is written in PHP and MySQL is the database. That's still the case, but and I'm still on Linux, but the A for Apache turned into Nginx and PHP FPM, those two things together.
So what is the new stack called? LFPM?
No, it doesn't use PHP FPM, but it uses Nginx. There's a name. Somebody knows. I bet Grumpy knows. Mike knows, right?
I'm sure he does.
Oh, was that what was killing your server? Your PHP FPM? Jill? That's kind of interesting. Then the fix I put in place would have helped you. Where we went behind I put the server behind Cloudflare, and we talk about that. And we instituted some rules that just said you're not allowed to ask me that many times in a row for attacking. Actually, it wasn't PHP FPM that. Well, that was a symptom, but it was the XML RPC calls that were really getting to it. Does that help?
Do you think those were malicious, or that was just
100%? 100%. Yeah. So when we put in the limiter to say you can't request it that often, all of a sudden it got happy. So it's now good. Oh, you're not a web person, Mike. I thought you knew everything.
No Spidey sense.
All right. What are they talking about Spidey sense for?
Web.
Oh, not a web person. Oh, sorry. All righty. Let's see. All right, let's get started with the first of our CES interviews for tonight. For tonight? All right, let's get started with the first of our CES interviews. I make a funny mistake in this one. Let's see. Yes. I need this open, don't I? At the beginning of this is a company called Birdify.
Birdfee.
Birdfee?
Birdfee.
Oh, I think I said Birdify. Oh, that's really good. Let's see. I take all the files, right?
You take all the files?
I take them out of the folder. They leave, right?
I think you do.
Go to Birdfee. Because otherwise I have 2 copies on my desktop.
Yeah.
Actually, that was supposed to be 03, wasn't it?
You're going to tell them the little funny thing you
Yeah,
did?
so this is a company that makes smart bird feeders that have cameras and everything. And I remember last year, Sandy told us to... Actually, I could tell this anecdote before we start.
Do you remember the name of the other company?
No. So when I
Sandy
start talking about Birdfee, I say, you were all the darling of last year's show, and it's not the right company, but it's okay.
Sandy, what is the company of your bird feeder?
No,
the
she
maker?
didn't ever get one, but she said she wanted me to look at them. Yeah.
I'll
Well,
look it up.
anyway. Well, should I tell the story or not on the show? That's the question.
Yeah, you can throw in a little bit of...
Okay, then I gotta slide in some room. I think I'll do this over again then. Mute that real quick. Remind me to unmute the jingle. Before we get started with the first of our CES interviews, I want to put a little disclaimer, funny thing at the beginning. You're going to hear me talk to this woman about a smart bird feeder, and I'm going to say, oh, you were the darling of the show last year. This isn't the company that was the darling of the show, but the products they have are really, really cool. So there's actually 2 companies, at least in this category, that we're presenting at CES, and I got them mixed up, but that's okay. You didn't even need to know that because this thing is really cool.
I think it was Bird Buddy.
Yes. Yeah, Bird Buddy was one last year. And they were there. I saw them at one of the...
They had a pretty good-sized booth. I think we actually saw them both on one of the media nights as well as the show floor.
We saw them inside the Amazon booth of all places. That's where they were last year. And I don't know why.
They were just collecting a bunch of smart home things.
But they somehow worked with Amazon. I don't know.
Right.
Okay, let me listen to this break here. Bartificer.net. Before we get started...
That's a little loud.
It's the exact same volume as the thing before it.
Sounded louder here.
Look at the waveform. Here, let's listen to a bunch. If you'd like to hear the story as taught by Bart, check out Tidbit 16, How Podfeed.com Works, over at pbs.bartificer.net. Before we get started with the first of our CES... Exactly the same, right?
All right. I'll believe you for now.
Okay. Really cool. Maybe a heartbeat longer. It's really cool. Noticeably louder? I'm looking at the waveform. It looks exactly the same, and it sounds exactly the same to me. Much louder.
Did you bump something?
I didn't touch anything. Okay. Look at it. You see how from here to here? See my cursor moving? I see how those waveforms are identical?
Go back to when you first started recording.
First start? No.
Your
I
intro.
don't want to go back. No.
That's what we're comparing to.
I don't even understand what you're saying now.
This segment.
I'm playing 2 segments back to back, and you're saying the second one is louder. This is the first one. Check out Tidbit 16, How Podfeed.com Works, over at pbs.bartificer.net.
That sounds louder than when we heard it
before we get started with... Oh, everything's gotten louder.
Everything's gotten louder, yes. Something sounds like your output got boosted.
Okay, that's different than saying those 2 clips are different loudness.
I wasn't trying to say that, but I guess it came off that way.
Okay. My volume from Audio Hijack is still at 100%. My mic input can't have changed that. Let's see, sound source can't have done anything. Oh, I need to do that.
I mean, we can work with it.
They're saying, ouch. So it's louder than my voice.
Yes.
How?
I don't know.
Well, let me look at the sound settings and see if they're doing some goofy, change volume thing, which has been known to happen in Discord. Okay, my microphone volume is a combination of my voice and playback from my Mac from Hindenburg. So if I look at loopback, I don't know how that could have just spontaneously changed. Yeah, loopback is just sitting there. Or see something. It started with the first of our CES interviews, and now I'm talking here. Yeah, no, that you guys are just wrong. I can't account for
what
it.
we hear.
No, you're wrong. I mean, if I change the YouTube Live input slider, if I bring it down in Discord, it'll bring here, I'll let you listen. So now my voice is probably way quieter in Discord. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So I can't independently change the output volume of one versus the other. It's not possible.
So I wasn't listening on Discord. I was listening on the YouTube Live.
On the YouTubes, and it did it there too.
Yeah.
Well, guys. Okay. I have no explanation.
I think we should just move on. People might have to adjust their volumes a little.
I agree. Okay, well, here comes Birdfee. Let's see how this sounds.
I'm glad you got the
this thing is really cool. Last year at CES, everybody told me to look at the automated camera bird feeders from Birdfee.
Yes.
And so they've come out with even more. Slide that over. It does sound a little processed, doesn't it, Steve? Last year at CES, everybody told me to look at the automated camera bird feeders from Birdfee.
Yes.
And so they've come out with even more concepts here today. And I'm with Prima Shi. I'm sorry. And I even practiced that. Prima Shi
Yes.
from Birdfee. And you're going to tell us about some of the new innovations for this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hi. So this year we have this Birdfee Hum Bloom. This is the honoree, the winner of CES Innovation Awards. And why it wins the awards? Because now it's the world's first 4K hummingbird feeder. And it has the slow-mo that you can see every detail of the flutter of the hummingbirds. And also you can see the whole structure is different from the traditional hummingbird feeders. You can get just as good pictures as you use the best camera like Nikon or Canon. You get the petal and hummingbirds, not the feeders. So you get very clean framing of the picture.
Let me describe this a little bit. It's a white container that's kind of like an hourglass. It's necks in at the middle, and then out of the top of it is a green stem like from a flower, and the flower hangs below the chamber where the fluid is, where the sugar water is.
Yes.
And that way, as they suck fluid out, it'll automatically pull it down. So you don't have a pump in here.
Right. And with this structure, there's no leaking issue.
Oh, that's
So
new.
every time
I've never had one that didn't leak.
Right, so that's why we say it innovative. Hummingbirds just get water from here, and it's not like from the traditional ones. I mean, this is also good, but this is a new structure compared to this one.
That's very cool. All right, you have a lot. We're going to try to narrow you down. Talk about this bird feeder up here. It sort of looks like a gazebo. A green gazebo with a bunch of little stations in front.
That's a nice metaphor. Okay, so this is our second generation of a smart bird feeder. And you can tell from this design, it has 2 cameras, 3 lenses. And this one, it has the portrait view and wide angle view. And this is a side camera. So for the first time, you see the birds in every detail. And
different angles at the same time, right?
Yeah, and with the portrait camera, it actually follows the movement of the birds.
Oh,
So
wow.
every time the birds move, the camera moves. You're always following the movement of the birds. And with two different angles of cameras, you get every detail of the birds. So it's a lot of fun. And maybe you can notice the hollow design of here. So with this certain distance, you get the best framing. Photo lenses. Okay. Yes. So every design here, we have put into huge consideration into it. It comes with a reason.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. So these cameras, they record to two separate chips in the SD card? All right, I'm going to cut us off. So I asked Steve to do some noise reduction on that versus what you heard last week. Does anybody have any opinions on the noise level before and after? Can you remember what it sounded like before? Just curious. I know you're probably not listening through, small earbuds now like you would have during the podcast last time. No. Okay. We could do a comparison. Do you have either of these as before and after?
I do, but what do you want me to drop the audio files in the Discord?
Yeah. No. Into my folder.
Oh, so you could just play them.
Yeah, I'm just thinking they might be qualified to telling us which they like better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, I have bird feed.
You have the bird feed? Okay.
Yeah. Let me get to your folder.
We're gonna do it live here. We'll let you guys decide.
Where do you want
it? In the bird feed folder.
Okay.
Should be empty right now.
It is. So I'll just put both of those audio files in there.
Both? No, just not the NS one, the other one.
Oh, okay.
Part of the sausage making, yes.
Okay, it's there.
Okay. So I'm going to toggle back and forth between these two. Let's see. So I'm going to mute this one. So what you're going to hear first is the one with noise reduction. Okay, is everybody ready? Get ready. A/B test. Here we go. This is noise with noise reduction. Last year at CES, everybody told me to look at the automated camera bird feeders from BirdFeed.
Yes.
And so they've come out with even more concepts here today. And I'm with Prima Shi. I'm sorry. And I even practiced that. Prima Shi from BirdFeed. And you're going to tell us about some of the new innovations for this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hi. So this year we have this...
Okay. Now, I'm going to play right around where she gets to start talking, so you get to hear that.
Wait, I'm sorry. What are you doing now? I thought you were going to switch.
Now I'm playing the one without... I'm going to switch. She from BirdFeed, and you're going to tell us about some of the new innovations for this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hi. So this year we have this BirdFeed Hum Bloom.
So that's the one with more noise.
But you didn't play the same. You played different words. How do you compare? You should play the same segment that you just played.
Okay, let's not do a lot of talking in between. I will. Let's do them back to back. I just wanted to start in a different spot because it was so much of me. I'll start in the same spot. So this is the one with noise reduction. Prima Shi. I'm sorry. And I even practiced that. Prima Shi from BirdFeed. And you're going to tell us about some of the new innovations for this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hi. So this year we have this BirdFeed Hum Bloom. This is the honorary.
Switching.
Prima Shi.
I'm sorry. And I even practiced that. Prima Shi from BirdFeed. And you're going to tell us about some of the new innovations for this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hi. So this year we have this BirdFeed Hum Bloom. This is the honorary, the winner of CES Innovation Awards.
Okay.
Bruce likes the first one.
Yeah, so Bruce likes noise reduction. Sandy likes noise reduction.
And by the way, that's just 50% noise reduction. If you go too far, it really starts distorting the speaker's voice, and I don't like that. It's kind of.
I want to hear what they think about this, though. And it probably matters how you listen normally.
Yeah.
Either seems fine. Like if you're listening through big speakers, I don't think it makes a difference. I'm hearing the compression more with these big cans on. Either seems fine. Speaker's voice does sound different. Yeah, it just sounds a little bit tinnier.
Yeah, there's a little distortion.
Yeah.
50% about it is about as high as I can go without.
Yeah, but I'm thinking maybe not going as high is what I'm thinking.
Ah.
maybe 35%. Okay. So, but nobody's like, oh my God, that sounds horrible or anything like that. Okay. All right. Let me just do a little vamping. 40. Okay. Bruce says 42%. That's sold.
Of course.
Okay. 3415. Do you mean 314? 31 point? Everything should be 42.
He's got a precise number.
Yeah, but no, Kevin's giving 34.15.
Mm-hmm.
Should
Perfectly
be 3.14. 31.4.
Let's move on.
Okay, here we go. I thought that was really cool, and I think Steve should get that bird feeder for his birthday. Shh, don't tell him. Okay. We've never had a bird feeder that didn't leak. That's what I'm excited about. Okay, buckle up. Oh, I need to go this first. We're going spelunking. When I explained to you how I mind map all of system settings for macOS 26, I stumbled across some applications hidden in macOS that I'd never seen before. I explained that while I knew about the ones that were in applications utilities, which some folks may not have realized were there, I'd found some buried even deeper. I told you at the time that I might come back and tell you about one of them. Later is now. The oddest and most intriguing app I discovered is called Panel Editor. When opening every single option in system settings and spelunking deep inside accessibility, I wandered into the section for those with motor control needs. I found Keyboard, and within there saw the option to toggle on something called Accessibility Keyboard. Within the same area, there was a button that said Panel Editor, and it explained the Panel Editor allows you to customize the panels shown by Accessibility Keyboard. I found Panel Editor again within the motor section of accessibility, but this time it was under pointer control. We're going to do a deep dive into the Panel Editor application, but when I discovered the option to open it, I got curious about where on earth this application lived on my system. As I said, it wasn't in Applications, and it wasn't in the Utilities folder within Applications either. I used the delightful app Find Any File from apps.temple.org to figure out where Apple had buried this app. Turns out it's buried in, get ready, the system level library input methods assistive control.app/content/resources. Obviously, I mean, I can't believe you guys didn't notice it was there. Anyway, so now that we know where it is, I want to talk about my path of discovery. My standard method of telling you about tools is to start with a problem to be solved. This time, though, I thought it'd be more fun to go through that discovery process. I had no clue what Panel Editor was when I started. I just started poking buttons, so I'm going to walk you down the same button poking path to see what we can learn. When Panel Editor first opens, it has three panes. The left pane is completely blank. The center pane is an empty grid, much like the fancy engineering graph paper we used to use that shows you thicker lines every inch and thin ones for smaller increments. At the top is a button that says Add Panel with a plus button and a stumbling. At the bottom. At the top is a button that says Add Panel with a plus sign and a grayed out minus sign button that says Remove Panel. The right pane is also blank, but helpfully it says No Selection. Above the right pane are four icons. The first three, Add Button, Group, and Ungroup, are grayed out. The last icon is Inspector, and tapping it simply closes and opens that right pane. I guess I can start calling it the Inspector pane since it said Inspector. That leaves us with literally one button that does anything, and that's Add Panel. Selecting it opens a drop-down menu with a list of items to choose from. empty, current text, dwell actions, dwell home, 8 different keyboards like ANSI, ISO, GIS, and numeric, and finally typing suggestions. Since I have no clue what any of these means, I decided to start by selecting empty. I was rewarded by the word empty in the left section written in blue, which I think indicates that it's selected. Once we have an empty panel, the Add button above the inspector is now available to us. Let's push it and see what happens. This puts a dark gray rectangular button in the middle of the grid called Untitled. In the inspector, we now have lots of things we can do with our button. We can name it, change the font and font color, and change whether the title is centered in the button or above or below it. We can make the button an image, either by adding our own image or selecting from a list of images representing functions like double-click, drag and drop, or keyboard. We can also change the color of the button. But what can this button do? Under Action in the inspector, there's a drop-down where you can choose from None, Go Back, Open Panel, Show Hide Toolbar, Dwell, Apple Script, Enter Text, Press Keys, Open App, Run Shortcut, Open Panel Editor, System Event, Typing Suggestions, and Current Text. Well, let's have it enter some text. Under the action, when Enter Text is chosen, there's a field to type the text you want it to show, so I put in, "Hi, this is Allison Sheridan." Pretty inventive, right? There's a checkbox to treat this as a sticky key if we want. I skipped over spoken phrase, and that was listed there, and I presume this means I could talk to my Mac to invoke this, but it was grayed out as the section below it was grayed out. Above that section about entering text, it said spoken phrase. Now, I presume this means I could talk to my Mac to invoke this, but it was grayed out, as is the section below that lets you choose a sound to play. I went down a big rabbit hole trying to figure out what these are for and how to enable them. I do know that spoken phrase requires you to enable voice control, but I never got it to work. We're going to leave those 2 options as an exercise for the student. Okay, I renamed the panel from empty to My First Panel. I named the button Introduction, made it red with white medium-sized text, gave it the drag and drop image, and told it to enter the text introducing myself. Okay, great. Now, how do I use this button? What we've been doing is creating buttons that you can access through something called the Accessibility Keyboard. This is an on-screen keyboard that goes by another name in macOS that you may have played with before, Keyboard Viewer. Oddly, you can't open the keyboard by either name directly from Panel Editor. To get quick access to Keyboard Viewer, we're going to put To get quick access to Keyboard Viewer, we're going to put an icon in the menu bar. First, open System Settings, Keyboard, and then under Text Input, you'll see Input Sources with an Edit button. This brings up a panel of options, one of which is Show Input Menu in Menu Bar. Do you see where I am, Steve? You just did the Show Keyboard Viewer, which I haven't said yet, but the one above that, right above that, there's a sentence that says Open System Settings Keyboard. It should have an arrow between it or a slash or something.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
And if you could save that, that'd be good. One of which is Show Input Menu in Menu Bar. Thank you. When you toggle that on, you'll see a wee tiny icon in your menu with 3 lines, a command symbol, and 3 dots in the upper left. When selected, this input menu has an option to show emoji and symbols, so the menu bar icon is useful for that, and you'll see Show Keyboard Viewer, also known as Accessibility Keyboard. If you require the Accessibility Keyboard to be on all the time, it can be toggled on by going to System Settings, Accessibility, Keyboard, Accessibility Keyboard, and toggling it on. Now, let's say you don't have any accessibility issues. Keyboard Viewer is a super useful tool for figuring out how to add accents to letters and how to type characters not normally on your keyboard. I've had it in my menu bar for as long as I can remember, so this is kind of like a mini tip within a review. Whether you use the easy menu bar method or the tedious system settings method to get to Keyboard Viewer, you'll be treated to a floating black window representing the Mac's keyboard. I learned to use this tool to figure out how to put an accent aigu over an E like the French spell the name René. I hope it makes Sandy and JF happy when I speak French. If you hold down the Option key on your physical keyboard, every key types something completely different than what's on the key. Keyboard Viewer will show you exactly what character will be typed. For example, with the Option key held down, the character W will now type the capital Greek character sigma. Now, some of the characters will show an orange box around them, which means they'll only be typed if you type them in conjunction with a regular character. For example, the character E changes to the accented U I mentioned earlier, but it has an orange box around it, which means you hold down Option, hit the E key once, let go, hit E again, and you get the E with the accented U. You can put that same accent over other letters, such as O, by typing Option E, O. Now, sadly, this method is kind of a lost art. With modern versions of macOS and iOS, you don't need to use the keyboard viewer to do this. Simply holding down the E key extra long, and you'll see all of the options to accent the character, including my beloved accent aigu. You kids today don't even have to work to get a circumflex or an umlaut when you need it. However, if you want to talk about money with Bart, you might need to use the keyboard viewer. It reveals that if you hold down Option Shift 2, it will type the symbol for euro. Okay, that's enough about keyboard viewer and why you might want it at your fingertips. But what does that have to do with accessibility in this panel editor we've been playing with? In the upper right of the floating black keyboard viewer is a 3-dot menu. Among other options at the top, you'll see Custom Panels, and then a flyout menu reveals any panels you've created over in Panel Editor. In my example, I can see my first panel. When you select the custom panel you created, the entire keyboard viewer collapses and you see just your panel. Now, I only created one button, so I simply see the red button with the white drag and drop icon. The panel floats above all other apps, so it's available for me to click at any time to type the text, "Hi, this is Allison Sheridan." Once you've got your panel open, if you want to get back to editing, you can use the 3-dot menu to choose Customize from the drop-down button, and it'll open Panel Editor again. While you're editing your custom panel, the panel continues to float on screen, but you won't see the changes reflected automatically. If you save from Panel Editor, you'll be asked, would you like to restart the accessibility keyboard to begin using the updated panels? If you say yes, the panel will disappear. In a few seconds, the accessibility keyboard will come back on screen, and then you can use your 3-dot menu yet again to open your custom panel. I tested adding a button to launch an application, telling it to open the app Mona for Mastodon. I grabbed the icon from Mona and made that the image for my Launch Mona button. Now that I understand how these images work, I changed my text entry button to look like a keyboard since I was telling it to type something. I used the action Press Keys in Panel Editor to run a Keyboard Maestro macro that opens whatever image is in the clipboard with my application shotter. You can rearrange the buttons on the grid, change their sizes, and align them so they look nice. At this point in my discovery, I started to understand how powerful Panel Editor combined with the accessibility keyboard can be for those with motor control issues. Combined with voice and eye tracking devices, it would be a lot easier to use a Mac with the right setup of buttons. At the same time, I started thinking about how this could be very useful even to those without motor control challenges. I've been able to build essentially a virtual on-screen Stream Deck, much like what Elgato introduced back in June. And one of the reasons Stream Decks are so powerful is that you can have multiple pages of buttons. With Panel Editor, you can create multiple panels and then put buttons on each panel to switch to other panels, just like you do with a Stream Deck. Opening up my panel is a bit tedious, even with the input menu in my menu bar, because it opens to Keyboard Viewer, not to my panel. But by poking around in the buttons, I found a way to make it even easier. Back in Panel Editor, with a specific panel selected, but no buttons selected, the right pane has a drop-down called Show, and by default, it says in Custom Panel List. That's what's selected. That's why we can get to it from that 3-dot menu in Keyboard Viewer. But if you change it to as Home Panel, then it comes up automatically when you choose Keyboard Viewer from the input menu in the menu bar. I just saw something else. Let's see where you are. Yeah, right above the picture you just posted, Steve, the beginning of the paragraph before it, the E in Editor is not capitalized. So back in Panel Editor, the E is lowercase.
Okay.
Thank you. Menu bar. Save, because Kevin says to. If you'd like to have your custom panel and keyboard viewer showing, especially if you actually use it as an accessibility keyboard, then change Show to As Toolbar. Then you'll see your buttons above the keyboard, so you get the best of both worlds. I mentioned that one of the reasons Stream Decks are so powerful is that even with a smaller Stream Deck with fewer buttons, you can have lots of pages to flip through, depending on what you're doing. In Panel Editor, you can set a specific panel to auto-show for specific apps. Let me explain by example. In the panel menu, I can set my custom panel to show for specific apps, and let's say I want to show it when I'm using Bear to write the show notes. Instead of making my 3-button panel the default, I can leave it as part of the custom panel list. That'll give me Keyboard Viewer showing in its default condition. But when I switch to Bear, it automatically changes to the little 3-button panel I created. Isn't that cool? You can assign a specific panel to be shown for multiple apps as well. Now, whether you're currently abled or need assistance, you may want to move your panels to different Macs. Perhaps you're helping someone else build the panels that they need to comfortably and efficiently use their Mac, or perhaps you live the multiple Mac lifestyle. The panel you've created is buried deep in the system, as I explained. Nope. Ooh, that's a pretty picture. That's a Stream Deck. I'd rather go there. Like the panel editor application itself, the panels you create are buried really deep in the system, but it's easy to save a version where you can actually find it. In the File menu, choose Duplicate. The window title across the top will be very long. I don't know, it's got this long gloppy name, but it turns out it actually gives you access to the Save As dialog box if you widen the window enough. It's got that little downward chevron you've seen before when you want to rename a file. If you do select that, you can save the file, share it with yourself or your friends, family, and even coworkers if you like those coworkers. Now, you can't double-click that file to open it, because while it looks like a single file with the .asc config extension, it's actually a package file. But on the recipient Mac, open Panel Editor, and from the File menu, you can easily choose Import Panels to bring it in. Just in case you want to try this, I compressed my first panel as a zip file, and I provided a download link to it in the show notes. Give it a try. Let's see, there's something I wanted to say. Yeah. The bottom line is that I had a lot of fun discovering this hidden gem buried in macOS, and I hope you enjoyed this circuitous journey I took you on before you got to know what the heck I was teaching you. I'm not sure this is for everyone, but we're a pretty nerdy crowd around here, and I hope you'll give it a try and just think about what Panel Editor might be able to do for you. Believe it or not, I skipped over a lot of stuff in Panel Editor, so maybe you'll even find it more useful. Nope. Believe it or not, I skipped over a lot of stuff in Panel Editor, so maybe you'll find even more fun to be had. There we go. All right. So now, I think I'll just kick into Airlium. What do you think, Steve?
Sure. Sounds good.
I need to do a big folder all about it. I don't think I'm going to have much time to play it either. You are here, and that means you're going to do that. And one of the things I love about Jill is that she's so spontaneous. I can just go, hey, try this. I sent her some very bare bones instructions about how to install or how to get to Panel Editor, get it open, and to import my my panel that I'd created. And she was such a trooper. She just is like, okay, sounds cool. She's the best. Fun to be had. All right, so this booth looks super nerdy. We got a bunch of pipes. We've got some chemicals on them here. We're not really sure what we're looking at. We got some fun meters. So Steve and I, being nerds, we had to stop by as engineers. I'm here with Stephen Barty, and the company name is?
Heirloom.
Heirloom. Yeah. And what is this contraption representing here?
So at Heirloom, what we are doing is making fuels out of air. So here, what you can see is our reactor containing our patented material, and this reactor is able to catch the CO2 and transform it directly into different kind of fuels.
I think I might want to go back to the uncompressed, Steve. I know I made you do all that extra work.
Really? On this one or both of them?
I don't know. I mean, this one, like at the entry, it really sounds
okay.
really compressed.
You want me to plop that in your folder?
Yeah, do you mind?
No, hold on. I think I still have it. Pretty sure I do. This is Heirloom.
Yeah.
I do. Okay.
I'm going to do them both.
Put in the uncompressed.
Yeah. Let me go to, it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, that's it. The compression on to me, I don't know, this is a personal thing maybe, but to me, this quality of the speaker's voice is more important than background noise. Until the background noise gets so loud, it interferes with your ability to understand the speaker.
Yeah.
Other people are bothered by background noise, but to me, it shows you're at a trade show. It's
it's just how much noise. I thought it would be too much, but I don't like the compressed one. All right, so this booth looks. Yeah, I think because part of it is the audio is so clear. You know,
part of what? Part of why you don't like the sound in the background?
No, why it's okay to have the sound in the background is our voices, that those mics are so clear. They just sound really good.
Yeah, they may be picking up more background noise than your previous mic.
Yeah.
These are pretty small.
Let's see.
They're not dynamic mics.
Oh, did I do it? Yeah, I did. Even more fun to be had. All right, so this booth looks super nerdy. We got a bunch of pipes. We've got some... Yeah, that sounds way better. I'm going to rescind my request, Steve.
For all future?
Yep, unless you think one of them is really bad,
Okay.
That's easier for you, right?
Not
not
now,
have to
but
do the noise reduction.
What?
To not have to do the noise reduction.
It's a click of a button.
Oh.
But it's just that when I do it is what counts, because I kind of change the file after I do it to put it in the video, and now I've got to go back and pull it out.
Because you put the compressed one in?
No, I work with the... we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
It's too complicated.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Thank you so much.
Whenever someone makes a new pledge to support the Podfeet podcast via Patreon, I immediately log into the service to check their work. You see, when you pledge to support the NosillaCast, you choose $1 or euro or yen amount on a per episode basis. The great thing about Patreon is that you can also set a limit to how much per month you want to pledge, regardless of how many episodes I make in a month. Now, you'll get a NosillaCast every week, but some months have more weeks than others, and maybe you want a specific dollar amount per month, and you don't care about this weekly number. Now, the reason I check is that I get an email that simply says what the per episode pledge is, but that doesn't tell me what monthly limit might have been set, and once in a while, people have made mistakes that would have left them quite cranky with the service and with me. That happened just this week when John Denning became our latest Patreon donor. His per episode pledge was extremely generous, so I wanted to check whether he'd set that same amount as his monthly max. Turned out he had set his monthly max to $240 a month. Now, I know John, and he's a fantastic guy and very generous, but I was relatively certain that was not what he meant to do. I wrote to him immediately, and he was able to fix it to set it to the correct amount. I tell you this story for two reasons. One is to thank John publicly for the years of support through fun email exchanges, as well as his generous donations. The second reason is to let you know about this monthly max trick, which makes managing your money easier and more consistent. If you'd like to check it out, please go to podfeet.com/Patreon and pledge your support. And it would have been really fun if I was recording. How come nobody told me I wasn't recording, guys?
Oh, no. Well, I didn't have the record screen up.
Okay, you get to hear it again. That's your punishment. Here we go.
Just hit record.
Oh, thanks, Zoe. I did that good, too. All right.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I want that just a hair breadth later to start that. Whenever someone makes a new pledge to support the Podfeet podcast via Patreon, I immediately log into the service to check their work. You see, when you pledge to support the NosillaCast, you choose a dollar amount or euro or yen, whatever you got, on a per episode basis. Now, the great thing about Patreon is you can also set a limit to how much per month you want to pledge, regardless of how many episodes I make in a month. Now, you know you get a new NosillaCast every week, but some months have more weeks than others, so the amount of money you'd be spending would be uneven. Now, the reason I check is that I get an email that simply says what the per episode pledge was, but that doesn't tell me what monthly limit might have been set by someone, and once in a while, people have made mistakes that would have left them quite cranky with the service and with me. That happened just this week when John Denning became our latest Patreon donor. His per episode pledge was extremely generous, so I wanted to check whether he'd set that same amount as his monthly max. Turns out he'd set his monthly max to $240 a month. Now, I know John, and he's a fantastic guy and very generous, but I was relatively certain that's not what he meant to do. I wrote to him immediately, and he was able to fix it to set it to the correct amount. I tell you this story for two reasons. One is to thank John publicly for the years of support through fun email exchanges, as well as his generous donation. The second reason is to let you know about this monthly max trick, which makes managing your money easier and more consistent. If you'd like to check it out, please go to podfeet.com/Patreon and pledge your support. That was cleaner.
Yeah, I think it was. A little peppier.
I'm on fire today. Actually, I feel good. Steve and I were both yawning before we got started, and I seem to have gotten over that.
Not good for a podcast.
No. Now I've said it, though.
If there's video.
Now I'm thinking about it. Tell me if anybody starts yawning.
It is contagious.
It is. All right. And I want to go to... Let's see, that's that one. I need to clean that mess up. I've made the dog's dinner of the folders now. There's Allison. There's Steve. Not Steve. Bart. Get ready. Get ready to listen, Steve. Are you listening?
Yes.
Blink. You almost missed it. Blink.
Yeah.
That was
pretty
Was a
consistent.
cute one. It was a little bit blink. Let's see. Let's get rid of me here, him there. Drag that to there. Drag that to there. Kevin! Did you just... How do you have that at your fingertips every week?
He probably has it on his desktop.
I just love the image of him sitting in his house giggling every time he does it. All right, let's see how this lines up. Or support. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Bouchatz, a refreshing place to go in these days, Bart. I look forward to hearing about hacks and horrible things.
Well, it's not all bad news. That's the good thing,
Good.
right? It's
Good.
always interesting to know what's going on, and so we can protect ourselves more.
If nothing else, it's a distraction.
If that's true. Although we have 4 weeks worth of distraction to get through, so I've put quite a bit of stuff into the feedback and follow-up where we can just...
All right, you two, cut it out.
Did he say
Poster
4
size.
weeks?
Yeah, it's been, I don't remember
Well,
why it's been 4 weeks.
he did
Christmas?
He did
'Cause
a
we didn't
tidbit
do it over-
instead? A tidbit security bit?
No, but No, it was a tidbit programming by Stealth. We didn't have one. Oh, because we were in Vegas on the 4th, the weekend of the 4th. So we didn't pre-record. Hang at my medium room next to the movie posters. Oh, good.
Next time, stay patched so you stay secure.
There we go. And then I can't believe, of all the things you'd think I'd forget, I remember his audio icon. I don't think I ever forget that. All right.
Time, stay patched so you stay secure.
Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me at allison@podfeed.com like John Dunning does all the time? You can do that anytime you like. If you have a question or a suggestion, how about some dumb questions? We haven't had a dumb question in a long time. Just send those on over. Remember, everything good starts with podfeed.com. You can follow me on Mastodon. Where? podfeed.com/Mastodon. If you want to listen to the podcast on YouTube like the kids do these days, go to podfeed.com/YouTube. If you want to join the conversation, you can join our Slack community at podfeed.com/Slack. And there you can talk to me and all the other lovely NosillaCastaways. Like Bart keeps mentioning, it's a great place to talk about security too. You can support the show at podfeed.com/Patreon like John Denning, or with a one-time donation at podfeed.com/donate. And there you can use Apple Pay or any credit card, or you can use PayPal by going to podfeed.com/PayPal. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, you're going to have to wait until February 1st to head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Was it February 1st? Is that when I'm going to do
I was
it
just
next?
looking it up, and it is.
Okay, good. All right.
Not that I didn't trust your date establishment.
Yeah, I did the show early, and then I've got a macro, and it automatically puts in the date, and then I had to change the date, but I looked wrong. Fantastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening, and stay subscribed. All right. There we go. The 2nd of February, that's right. Okay. Have you been counting, dear?
I've counted for most of my life, but let me count again. Well, at least after maybe age 4 or 3, I don't know.
Let's see, where was it?
5.
5?
Well, and with
6.
support the show 6. Yeah, I forget you do.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Where did
6.
I put something funny? Doggone it. Is it in general?
Did you? So I don't see the January 18th date fixed. Do you want me to do that, or have you not uploaded?
I have not pushed it up.
Okay.
Dang, but where did I put? I put a link to maybe it was in Delete Me. No, it wasn't in Delete Me. I'm looking in Slack for something, but I don't want to blow the. I put a link to a programming channel. Here we go. Oh, here it is. Okay, you guys, hit the begin. This is so funny. This is a guy explaining how he ordered salad from Sweet Greens using Emacs, the editor, the command line editor. Anyway, just hit the link and listen to the very beginning, the first couple of seconds, and you'll see why I thought it was funny.
You can't do that.
Well, if Allison Janney can.
Yeah, right. I've heard her use it.
I still gotta meet Allison Janney. I gotta get a connection to her someday where I can tell her that. Be funny.
She has a podcast?
She was a guest on a show. Now, why was Kevin writing 3.1415 now when he got the number wrong before, and you didn't even acknowledge that? Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was funny. That made me laugh. There was something else I was going to tell you guys. I forget. Oh, I know what it is. Okay. I need you guys to decide for me. I can't tell whether we have a troll in Slack or not. Someone who goes by, and I'm going to read you what they wrote to me. They go by CB-Haraste Timo, Harraste, capital Timo. They DM'd me right after they joined the community. They said, hello. I waited to see what they were talking about, and they wrote one sentence. So they're hitting send after each one. So I have like this thing. The second sentence was, I kind of like your feet. Okay, at this point, I was ready to hit delete, right? I was just powering up the ban button. But the next thing said, so I made a pull request earlier on the Taming the Terminal GitHub repo. Just corrected some typos. It was merged. But I have a question. I went over to GitHub and I looked at the Taming the Terminal repo, and I found a recent pull request. Well, a pull request is where you find some mistakes or some contribution you want to make, and you're requesting that someone pull your changes into their code. And Bart had mentioned that he had recently gotten a request for some typos to be corrected and that he'd fixed them. And I checked, and the name was the same guy or woman. I don't know.
You know, the feet thing could just be the
I'm
pod
not done
feet.
yet.
I
haven't asked. So they never wrote what the question was they had. Okay, now go, Steve. The feet could be what? Meaning they like pod feet?
There you go. We lost you for a bit there. You froze up, at least on the YouTube channel.
So what were you trying to say, Steve? Yeah, is it feet
yeah.
fetish or the pod feet logo they like?
I suspect it's the pod feet logo.
They're from Finland.
So remember, so their English is probably not their first language. So maybe, you know, I like your feet could have been worded a little more clearly. But
I like pod feet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't drop them yet, but
I'm waiting to see why haven't they finished? You know, why didn't they tell me what the question? I hesitate to respond until
you don't want to feed a potential troll.
Right.
I'm putting it about 80-20 not being a troll.
Okay. Yeah. But I mean, my first reaction, you can see why it would just be, okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Let's go. All right. So you guys think there's a chance this is real? I should let them sit there.
I think there is. That's a lot of detail about the pull request and the fact that it actually happened. That doesn't sound like a troll.
Not that you can't like Taming the Terminal and also have a foot fetish, but...
Oh, there's that. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe I'll ask him. I say, I'm waiting for the question. Yeah, they did make a legit PR. And Bart did merge it, so it's real.
Maybe.
All right, well,
just,
602.
Maybe the person's just looking for a thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks
but they have a question. I think I'll ask, what's your question?
Yeah.
All
I don't
right.
think that can hurt.
I'll feed it one more line. We'll see. If I end up with a super creep, you're gonna regret telling me to do that, Steve.
Super creep. Super creep.
It sounds like a song or something.
Super
All right.
freak.
I think we should let the audience go at 6:02.
Yes.
We will see you in... When will we see you? In 2 weeks.
2 weeks. February 1st/2nd for Zoe.
Yep. All right, everybody. It's been fun seeing you. I'm going to sign off. Goodbye. Cut us off, Steve.
We're good. We're being cut.